Good boy, good boy. Hi, handsome. Are you the golden child? He says, oi, you don't have food. Hey, Joel's crew. So today we are going to put Buck here, back in the English tack. So if you haven't seen my latest series of restarting this little 4-year-old here, go back and watch it. I'll put a card at the top. But I restarted him back in a Western saddle with just a halter side pull. We're finally to a point where he can be ridden, walk, trot, canter fairly comfortably in the Western saddle without freaking out too much. We still have our little hissy fits from time to time, but I'm not a big fan of the Western saddle that I have. Well, hello, Balaam. It's not super comfortable. It's hard on my rear end. It's not padded very well. So I wanted to get back to the English saddle as soon as I can, and I feel like we're at that point. I'm also gonna put him back in the bit. So the deal with me with bit versus bitless is I did the bitless because all our friends are coming up behind us. I did the bitless because when I was having to do a lot of one rein stops, I didn't want to be yanking on the bit that way. I don't necessarily want to be yanking on his face that way either, but I feel like he would have more issues with me yanking on his mouth, so I taught him to be supple with the side pull before I started riding in it, so he knew as soon as I brought the one rein around that meant to bring his head around. So watch those other videos for that. He now knows to be that supple with the bit, so we did groundwork with that. So as soon as I bring the one rein around with the bit, he brings his head right around. So those are the steps we took to get to where we are. So let's get to it.
I got choose and multiplying, and I'm losing control, 'cause power you're supplying is electrifying. Better shape up, 'cause you need a man. My heart is set on you. Better shape up, you better understand. To my heart I must be true. Nothing left for me to do. If you're filled with affection, you're too shy to convey.
As always, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of boring groundwork, but this is just some stuff that we've been building on from what we've already done. I'm trying to do all of our motions that I have taught him at Liberty. So yes, he does still have the reins on, and I could grab him if I needed to, but I actually do not have a rope attached from him to me. So this is the first step to kind of getting them into the Liberty mindset. Believe me, he is very well aware that I do not have a rope attached to his head because he has walked away from me several times prior to these sessions. So this is a good step forward for us. He did not try to walk away from me today, which was very nice of him. So I'm just asking him to give with his hind end and give with his forehand and back up. And then here is what I was talking to you guys about earlier. So I want him to give laterally with his head with just a very minimum amount of pressure. I'm really just holding the reins with literally 2 fingers, hardly any pressure at all. I want him to give and supple. And then I'm asking him to give his hind end with the stirrup. So I actually pushed the stirrup against his flank and asking him to move around with that. So he did well with that, and here we go. We're going to get back in the English saddle for the first time in a couple months. So he did very well with mounting. I was a little cautious with my mounting today, just to make sure we didn't have any explosions. I wasn't expecting any type of explosions, but you really never know with this horse. He That's the thing about him. He can be calm as can be, and then all of a sudden just explode out of nowhere. So here we're just doing a lot of walking, changing direction. I'm speeding this up because it's kind of boring, but I've set up this snake with the ground poles, and I'm asking him to change direction, and I'm also posting at the walk to get him used to that feeling. That used to really freak him out. So if you've been watching my series, you'll know that it was difficult to even change direction at the walk without him having a little hissy fit. So here I'm asking him to do a spiral circle both ways. So I start in a smaller circle, open my outside rein, and with the inside leg I'm asking him to push into that outside rein and make the circle bigger, which is a big step for this horse. He hated any type of leg aids. So also again, I'm doing what we just did from the ground. So I'm asking him to give with his head, and then I'm giving some leg pressure behind the girth and asking him to give with his haunches. Again, big improvement with this horse. So now we're trotting, and I'm practicing holding my 2-point and going from 2-point to posting. 2-point would make him spook as well. So here we are, sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. But here I'm just moving my arms all about, lots of stimulus. This again would also freak him out as well. So we would do this at the walk and the trot. I have not done it at the canter yet, but he's finally getting comfortable with this. About 2 weeks ago, he would have bolted, and again with that little trot, or I'm sorry, that little trip he did there, he would have bolted after that. So I was very impressed that he did not seem fazed by me waving my arm around at the same time that he tripped. So he was a very good boy. I wasn't expecting too terribly much from this ride today. Just wanted to see where we were at with the English tack. So I have discovered what my next biggest obstacle is, and it's going to be finding rhythm with this horse. So as you can see, he really has no rhythm to speak of. He has this measly little trot. He doesn't know precisely what leg on means to go forward, and sometimes he gets a little spooked by when you put the leg on. So we're starting to come around. I'm trying to do this exercise, having him change direction and maintain a nice, even pace trotting rhythm, and as you can see, we are definitely struggling with that. He can trot on the rail and keep a fairly consistent rhythm, but he needs to learn that we're going to be going over things, we're going to be changing direction. He should be able to keep a nice constant rhythm as we change direction. So this is a great little exercise for him. If you look on the, I think it's called the dressage pyramid of the things that a horse needs to learn, rhythm is #1 priority, and then impulsion, and then I think contact, and I can't remember the other ones. I'll try to find that and go over that with you guys. But like I said, I know for sure rhythm is the #1 priority. So now that we're finally over this hurdle of him not spooking at leg aids, I can teach him what leg aids mean. So again, I wasn't really too concerned with how we were going to get along with this ride in regards to rhythm. I mostly just wanted to see how he was going to be getting back in the English tack and back in the bit, and he did very well. We ended with a little bit of sitting trot, and he finally was starting to bring his head around and kind of search and come into that contact. So I was really pleased with how he did. And then we also ended with another stimulus that he hates, is me waving my feet around before I dismount. So just trying to get him used to all of these things. I think he's finally starting to come along, and we can do some serious training now. Super excited.
Becky says I was a good boy. This is like his favorite thing to do. Anytime he sees the hose turn on, he comes running. Thank you guys so much for watching. I think we're finally getting somewhere with this boy. Please like, please subscribe. Love you guys. Becky says bye.